Hello, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, as per the title of the video you already saw, we are looking at question 1.3 of paper 1 mathematics grade 12 2021. So let's just get straight into it and then see how we can deal with the question. Suppose the question reads as follows: the roots of an equation are x equals to negative n plus minus the square root of n squared minus 4mp divided by 2m, if I can just put it like that, where m, n, and p are positive real numbers. Okay, and then the numbers m, n, and p in that order form a geometric sequence. Prove that x is a is an unreal number. Yeah, just prove that x is an unreal number. So this is a geometric sequence, and then we are required to prove that x is an unreal number. Actually, if we are required to prove that x is an unreal number, we need to be aware of what non-real numbers are. With non-real numbers, we have real numbers and non-real numbers. In high school, you only deal with real numbers. So all the negatives and the positives, they are real numbers. Non-real numbers, those are the numbers that you are going to be dealing with when you get to tertiary, if you decide to go to tertiary. So with non-real numbers, you will remember from the nature of roots, since this is basically what they are saying here. Remember the nature of roots from grade 11. For non-real numbers, the discriminant is actually negative. The discriminant is less than 0. By discriminant, we mean what you have inside the square root there, because this is pretty much a quadratic equation, as you can see there. It's not rocket science for you to discover that this is actually a quadratic equation. So for non-real numbers, if you remember from nature of roots, for non-real numbers, discriminant, which is equals to b squared minus 4ac, that's basically the part that is inside the square root for a quadratic equation. It's actually less than 0 again. So okay, so usually you will write it like this, not to try to sound, yeah, usually this is how you are supposed to write things. Discriminant is less than 0, like that. Okay, sorry for that. So what will be the discriminant in this case? In this case, we look at what is inside the brackets, the square roots rather. The discriminant is equals to n squared minus 4 mp. If we are saying this discriminant is less than 0, that means we are basically saying n squared minus 4 mp is less than 0. So that's the condition we have for non-real numbers. But if we are required to just prove that x is a non-real number, we are basically just required to prove this, that this part, which is inside the square root there, it's actually less than 0. How can we prove that? We are given information about m, n, and p. We are told that m, n, p, in that order, they form a geometric sequence, and m, n, and p, they are positive real numbers, so we are fine. What do we know about m, n, and p if maybe they actually form that geometric sequence that they spoke about there? We know that in a geometric sequence we have a common or constant ratio. That means we have n over m being equals to p over n, like that. So can we simplify this? And then after simplifying, we'll just need to take the simplified version and substitute back there, so that we can write the whole expression which is inside the green circle, or yeah, the green, if you can call that a circle, or a green enclosement, in terms of only one variable. Then we can therefore know if it's actually less than 0 or not. Okay, so let's continue with that and try to prove that. Okay, simplifying here, we're just going to cross multiply. We have n squared equals to mp. like that. So we are going to take that means that MP there, we can just substitute by n squared. That's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to say n squared minus 4 n squared like that, and then we try to see, we have n squared minus 4n squared, which is equals to negative 3n squared. Because they already told us that n is positive, but actually from here, even though if maybe n could be negative, you can tell that this expression, this whole expression, will forever be negative, because n squared, whatever n is, when you square it, it's always going to be positive. Therefore, this proves that actually x is always negative, because the whole discriminant, which is what we have been trying to calculate, because I was supposed to actually include that, this is the discriminant. Again, it's actually going to be equals to this. So you can just rewrite the whole thing here so that you are working, it becomes not all over the place, n squared minus 4 mp, like that. So now everyone knows that your discriminant is always going to be negative. Therefore, x is a non-real number, because discriminant, when it's equals to negative 3n squared, will always be negative. That's the reason, because this whole thing will always be negative. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense for some reason, you can always ask in the comment section, and then we'll try to see